Here is the craziest thing that you will hear today. There is no perfect time for you to do the Lord's will. Let me repeat that again. Matter of fact, put it on my face. You won't ever be prepared to do the Lord's will. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect situation. There is no perfect circumstance. Think about this. If you are a farmer and you know that your job is to grow plants organically, right? To make sure that your seeds are, or make sure your seeds that are planted in fertile soil, that they are watered, nurtured, taken care of, right? That you continuously watch over them in any weather, snow, sleet, hail, tornadoes, everything, right? See, think about it. In the most dormant weather, extreme heat and extreme coldness, it gets rougher and tougher to take care of plants, right? It gets rougher and tougher to plant seeds, right? And it becomes way more difficult to be able to create healthy, rich fruit and vegetables, right? Now, even like cows, for example, cows, they need to be able to, they eat wheat, right? They need to be able to be fed, taken care of, and housed. Because if they're just left out in the cold or in extreme heat, they will suffer. Therefore, the resource will suffer. I want you to think about how that can be compared to our lives, right? Whenever we try to look forward and step into a new beginning and a new opportunity, how does our circumstance look? How is our environment? How are the pros and cons, right? Do the pros outweigh the cons, or do the cons outweigh the pros? Wait, that makes so much more sense now, Drake, right? Draco. But what do pros and cons have to do with what you're talking about? Well, guess what? There won't ever be a situation where everything is just balanced, right? There is no perfect situation. That's why good and evil are not balanced. Believe it or not, it's like this. It varies. There's never an equal side. But think about this. In our worst emotional, physical, mental, spiritual circumstances, how can you be ready to jump into a purpose that you are not prepared for, right? Oftentimes we think we can just jump into things, right? When we have to be 100% prepared. Sometimes that's just not going to be the case, right? You may be presented with a new job opportunity or a new project, and you know, your manager, unless you're a manager, you may have to do it for the company. They present it to you and you have to take care of it, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? But next thing you know, you may be taking care of a different project that you are still kind of almost on the route of finishing, but you still have to do it. Now think about it. If God threw you that project, or if somebody threw you that project and they were like, you know what, this is due in a week, right? You have to make sure, you know, I don't know, the landscape, you have to make sure everything's planned. Then you have to actually execute it, or we have to come up with a plan. Like, would you be able to, regardless, be ready? Now in the back of your head, you're like, oh yeah, like I won't be ready. Like, how would you be ready? Right? But at the same time, we have to think about this. Think about this. Whenever David fought Goliath, was he prepared? He was probably prepared spiritually, but no one believed he was prepared physically because of Goliath's brute strength, his size, his weight, his weapons, his auxiliary, his entire, the Philistines, right? Because you had the Israelites and the Philistines, right? The Philistine army was swole, right? The Israelites, you know. But think about this. When David, who came and seemed like he was unprepared, and when everyone doubted him and when he was put to the front lines to be put to the test against this brute strength, this monstrosity, who was with him the whole time? God was with him the whole time. Nobody believed he was prepared. Nobody believed he was going to execute. Nobody believed a young boy with 3 stones who tended sheep, a young shepherd boy. Nobody knew he was going to be ready to step into the fold and go to work. Who do you think believed in him though the most? God did. But not only that, he believed in himself. But see, preparation came from within, right? Preparation sometimes isn't your physical makeup, right? It takes a mental in a certain type of wisdom to be prepared for something like that. Think about 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 8. God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Right? God is able to make all grace abound to you, so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. So what does this kind of tell me? Think about it. When it says all grace abound to you, so that in all things at all times having all that you need. That means, think about it. You're going to step into a situation, and sometimes you're gonna be like, man, I'm unprepared. I don't have the skills. I don't have the resume. I don't have the qualifications. But God still presents you with the opportunity, and because of that, step into it, regardless of how unprepared you may feel. Now, that may sound crazy coming from me, but guess what? I've had to, and I bet you have too. You've had to step into certain situations in your life, relationships, job situations, I don't know, a new city, a new state, a new country, right? To where you have to deal with unforeseen circumstances. And that is okay, because God isn't going to give us something that we are not able to, to handle, right? With God, you can do all things, right? We know this. So think about it. If you were given a task, a situation, you were placed in a better opportunity, and you didn't feel like you were your most prepared, then what do you have to lose? What do you really have to lose? With obedience and faith, you are prepared, right? This verse says, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. So every good work you do for God, you will be prepared for, regardless if you personally feel unprepared, right? Now that sounds crazy. Drake, right? Drake, why? Like, why would I be prepared for something I'm unprepared for? Like, that sounds crazy. That sounds wild. But think about it. If your prayer life and you have so much faith in yourself and in God, that the opportunity and the blessing that he gave you was presented to you and given to you for you to deliver, for you to have purpose for, right? Then there's no more questioning. There's no more asking and doubting God on why you were given a certain opportunity. If you don't learn anything else in this video, I want you to think about the times where you felt your lowest, right? And you got up out of it and you started walking. You go outside, it's snowing. Next thing you know, you get like a text or email about a job you just applied to that you had no qualifications for, that you had no business getting even a response from. But somehow you went from making 40K to now 6 figures, 100K plus. And you're like, dang, like, I don't even match the qualifications. But it's because God oversaw your situation. So now it's time to walk in the newness of your new reality. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Join the Discord if you're new. Subscribe if you're new. Thanks for watching. As always, God bless.